this is really early for me.
Yeah.
I don't get up this early. So Creative Mornings and all of you beautiful people feel very special today. Because my wake up time is like 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been known I can't text her till then. So.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of texting, let's talk about how we started a friendship.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, actually, I got some of Candace's spices during my time on MasterChef. Someone was like, hey, you need to try this girl's spices. And we kind of fangirled each other on Instagram for a while. And then finally I got her spices. And I think it was like another year before we connected.
Yeah.
And we met at the wonderful Public Greens.
Yes, we did.
And had lunch, and it was like a match made in heaven after that. Have you ever just met someone where you just instantly connect? We just built a friendship and a sisterhood from there, and now we text and side-eye people together all the time.
Yeah, while eating good food. Yeah, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, instant bestie. So, yeah, I literally fangirled her on MasterChef, and after, you know, she did not win because she is the winner in my book, I absolutely stopped watching, and I left my support on that table that day. But really and truly, I've loved her since then, and yeah, it's just great that I get to do creative things with her. She is definitely my sister in food. So,
I feel like the way that we connected the most was really talking about the hardships that we face in this industry, especially as Black women.
Absolutely.
We both just kind of like poured it all out and was super vulnerable in our very first conversation. And I think I walked away like, crap, did I just say all that to this girl I just met? I hope she doesn't tell someone all the things I just said. But it really was a connection in sisterhood and just relating to each other, that we were like, we are magic. Yeah. We know that we are talented and capable and valuable, and we didn't feel like we were really making strides in our industries. Right. And so we just decided to get together and celebrate Black Girl Magic as much as we possibly could. And you probably hear it all the time, and we don't care if you're sick of it.
Yeah, it's literally our mantra, especially when we are doing our diversity series. I always tell people that I am pretty much the troublemaker, and, you know, they just kind of let me on just to try to, you know, shake it up, and Tanorria keeps me in line. The one thing we always say is that if we're in the room and Black women are in the room, we're going to center them at every moment, no matter what, just because we know that we have to be champions for one another. And if I am in the room and I say, hey, Tanorria, I want you to be a part of this, that's how it's going to be. I mean, I'm always going to center another Black woman that's doing something creatively, just because I know how hard it is to be at the table. And so not only should we, you know, be at the table, but have equity at the table.
Absolutely.
So that's really important to us together.
Yeah. I think we kind of are our own allies.
Right.
We talk a lot about allyship, and right now we experience a lot of performative allyship, but there's something incredibly genuine when you are an ally for your own people.
Absolutely.
And so we are allies for each other through and through. And we definitely do a lot of side-eyeing about performative allyship.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Blackout Tuesday was amazing. And I am so thankful for all of the love and all of the shares and all of, you know, the shout outs. But one thing that people have to remember is that Black women, Black people, we're Black every day.
Every
so that one Tuesday, that was great. That was wonderful. And again, it did a lot for all of us, but we still have to deal with being Black every single day. So the one thing that kind of came out of that is I'm looking at the businesses that only said something that one day and haven't done anything since.
Right.
So if you really want to make change, you know, stand up and call out the things that are terrible, that are horrible. People are dying in the streets. People are hungry. You know, there are kids that, you know, are hungry. There are families that are not being able to make ends meet. There are kids who are not going to know what's going to happen with school in the next couple of weeks. How are they going to be able to eat? Several kids only get fed via school lunch. That's a problem when kids are going to virtual school. How are we handling that? So the companies that didn't speak up about that, not only did we side-eye you, but we marched and said, hey, we're not going to work with you. And if you only said something that one day, we're like, hey, what else are you going to do? I literally reached out to brands that have worked out with me for years. Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? Why are you being so quiet? Yes, thank you for Blackout Tuesday, but what are you doing beyond that?
In addition to that, I think about the brands that dropped some dollars. And we're talking about multi-billion-dollar companies who decided to drop, I don't know, $100,000, $500,000. Guys, that's the equivalent of a penny. Mm-hmm. That is ultimately an insult. Mm-hmm. You're basically saying that Black lives are worth a penny.
Right.
So unless there is some initiative that's going to show your efforts in dismantling white supremacy and creating an equitable table for all as an ongoing thing, then your penny, you can keep it.
Right.
You could really keep it.
It's not like we just woke up and decided that Black people came out yesterday. You know,
I've been Black for 39 years, guys.
Yeah, here, 36 years right here. So, you know, making sure that, you know, you do something beyond, you know, that drop in the bucket, and not making sure that, you know, your diverse team is led by a Black person, but make sure that, you know, they actually have some skin in the game.
Yes.
Give them the tools they need to actually make change. So that's something that's really important to us. So
I actually just explained last night in a book club that I'm in that when you have this organization and you're like, let's bring in all the Black people. Guys, keep in mind that I used to be the diversity and inclusion practitioner in my corporate career. And so I spent time saying, this place is not diverse, this place is not inclusive, and here's what you need to do about it. They didn't do anything about it, and now they're hiring a director of diversity. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. Anyway, moving on. When you bring in all of these Black people into this organization to say, okay, check, we've done our part, you are setting them up for failure. Exactly. You are essentially saying, okay, we're not creating an organization that's inclusive, and we're not ensuring that these Black people in this organization are set up with the tools and resources they need to succeed, and that we are keeping in mind the unique contributions they have to bring to the table. We're just sticking them at the table and saying, okay, you're good.
Okay, you're good. And we've done our part. That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. You have to make it, you know, edible for everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's not just putting a Black person at the table. It's people of all races, all genders, all backgrounds, all sexual. I mean, all of that matters when we're looking at what really is diverse about our world.
Doing that brings you diversity in thought, diversity in perspective,
right,
diversity in contribution. Right. I think about how creative Black women are.
Yeah.
I mean, we are so dope.
We are,
like, really? And creativity in the unique contributions that people have to bring to the table, whether it's in the creative space or the corporate space, is different for every single person.
Right.
So like creativity looks different for Candace compared to what it looks like for me, compared to what it looks like for all of you creatives. Right. So like, tell me, what does creativity look like for you?
So creativity looks like for me getting in the kitchen, and I really find solace in the kitchen. That's actually how I started my blog. People were asking me, hey, how do you make this? I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just do that. It just kind of just rolled off the tongue for me because I've literally been in the kitchen since I was 6. I fried my first egg at 6. My dad loves to tell that story. He tells everyone he meets, my daughter made eggs at 6 all by herself. Probably not by myself, but whatever. So writing, coloring, being able to use my hands, that's really what creativity means to be, being able to be vulnerable and honest and open. And that's one of the things I love about what we do together.
Yeah. And,
you know, just being able to email her or text her at 10 o'clock at night, hey, I have an idea about this. What do you think about this? Making spices, being able to have a spice blend in 2 of the hottest restaurants in the city. Hello, Chef Oya. Hello, Q at Missing Brick.
Hey, y'all.
That's something that's amazing and creative to me. Hearing people say, you know, I tried your seasoning for the first time and oh my God. Being able to work with children in schools. I miss my CFI kids so much. Being able to show them that, you know, cooking is not only something that you do, it's a life skill. It teaches math, it teaches science, fractions. There's so many different things that people learn by being able to be in the kitchen. So just food makes me creative, and I like to eat. So there's that.
Yeah, if you like to eat, you need to know how to cook.
You need to know how to cook.
Absolutely.
So what about you?
creativity for me is resistance. It really is, because I can't tell you how many times I've been labeled as an angry Black woman.
Yes.
And my response to that is, okay, you don't see the softer side that makes you comfortable,
right?
Or that you expect. And so if you really want to see who I am, know who I am, understand who I am, have a seat at my table.
Yes, absolutely.
Sit down at my table and let me feed you. And that meal will express who I am.
Absolutely.
So I feel like Tanorria's table, my business, is an expression of nourishing your body with food and nourishing your soul with justice.
Absolutely.
And so there are so many opportunities for me to be creative in all of those different things. So my creativity is sometimes rattling off the mouth and telling white people they're pumpkin spice. I'm sorry. But it's also, my creativity is also making Gordon Ramsay shrimp and grits, or partnering with Candace and going and having a meal and simply just eating it and savoring it.
Oh my God, yeah.
That is a creative act. And then also thinking about how food and creativity brings people together and community. I really love that. I think it's Sonia who actually said something about me being a community builder, and I was like, wait, what? And so thinking about how food can be the center of breaking tension, expressing vulnerability, bringing people together, kind of setting somewhat of a level playing field. I get my creative energy from that.
Yeah, I always say that food and music are the two things that can bring people from all different walks of life together.
All have in common.
You even the playing field. Everyone has to eat, and it's one of those things that for me, I say, if I feed you, you know that I love you.
Absolutely.
So when I make a meal for you, I'm pouring something of myself out, and I'm giving you a piece of me. So that's one of the ways I love to connect with people, and cooking and food just does that for me. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
Whew, guys, I'm tired. I'm tired.
That was a lot. But I love chatting with you. That's the one thing I love about, our friendship, that we literally can talk about anything, which is how we started. One of the things we always said is that we'd make sure that we would give, Black people in the room opportunities. And I will tell you, it's been hard. I've been in this game for 7 years, and I literally started out I just want to share recipes. That's all I want to do. And I never realized that, opening up there's this whole world of people that don't really know how to cook.
Yeah. Or how to season their food.
Or how to season their food.
I said it, y'all.
Spice slinger.
Start seasoning your food.
Season your food.
Get some salt in there.
Bland food won't prosper.
Amen. Amen.
We'll link you. But really, cooking and learning, kids now are not taking home ec. There is no home ec in schools anymore. When I learned how to, cook a roux, that was at school. Now, granted, my mother, made mac and cheese all my life. I got back home and said, Mom, you were making mac and cheese wrong. These people start with the roux. What are you doing? And it was this thing, but making sure that, that kids have that opportunity. That's why I start with, food education being, something that you can do for yourself in the long run. So making sure that there are opportunities for other people. When you have a business that you love, it doesn't necessarily have to be a food business, but one of the best things you can do is share that business, like their post, read their newsletter, engage with them. Just word of mouth. Literally, word of mouth is still one of the biggest driving forces of how people meet each other. That's literally how Tanorria and I met. Through word of mouth.
And honestly, I'm glad you said that, because in light of #AmplifyMelanated_Voices and #AmplifyBlack_Voices and Blackout Tuesday, okay, so my following, my audience, it doubled after that. Guys, while I appreciate that and I think that's fantastic, please go follow me. Honestly, part of me was like, yo, it's about damn time. Because we have been busting our butts for that. And quite honestly, I do think there's something in the algorithm that delays exposure for Black people. Absolutely. And so that came, and I'm like, yes, finally, that's what we've been working for, is to see that. But it's one thing to just go follow a Black person and let them dwindle in your feed, and then you never see them in your feed because you don't engage. But I am here for you to engage with me. That is how you are supporting Black businesses, is by engaging, liking, commenting, buying their product, shouting them out, referencing them to other people. That is how you engage with Black people. Just checking a box or clicking follow doesn't do much. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, but like, and really, we talk back to our followers. I want to know if you made a recipe or if you try my spices. I want to know that. All of that matters to me, and it's something that's important. It helps us with what we're doing for the future. Because how do I know, you know, if I don't get feedback? So giving feedback and just honestly knowing that you're out there, and knowing, you know, we're real people behind the businesses that we run.
Even going to our website and commenting on our recipes there. Like,
little things like that.
All of that.
Little things like that.
I just saw someone say to share my anti-racism resources. So I'm going to take a hot second.
Absolutely.
Get on my soapbox. Okay. So my job for 8 years was to talk about diversity and inclusion. And during that time, I got real tired, y'all. Real tired. And kind of took a break from it. Essentially, during my time of being on MasterChef and a year or so after that, while I was building Tanorria's table, I kind of took a break from the diversity, inclusion, and equity work that I did because I was just tired. So imagine doing that for 8 years, and then the brutal murders of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jayshon Reed occurred. And every single white person was like, hey, what can I do? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been dropping these little nuggets forever. And so I just decided to create an anti-racism resource guide. There's a link in my bio. I think Creative Mornings might drop the link. It is basically a download that is interactive, meaning you can click links and it directs you to resources. These are books, podcasts, TED Talks, and movies. But let me help you understand something real quick. You cannot complete this resource guide and then say that you are anti-racist. You cannot complete this resource guide and then say that you fully understand Black Lives Matter. This is simply a tipping point. This is just to point you in the right direction. My goal, the same way that you can go on Google or YouTube and go down a rabbit hole of cat videos, I want you to go down the rabbit hole of Black Lives Matter. And so this is essentially all that this resource guide is doing, is pointing you in the direction. And then I just want to hear about it. I want to hear people in my DMs and in my email say, oh my gosh, I didn't know all these things. I'm going to side-eye you with Candace and be like, why didn't you know all these things? Right. But at the same time, I'm going to be glad that you went down the rabbit hole, because this is a lifelong journey. We are working towards dismantling over 500 years of white supremacy. I'm not going to do that completely in my 39 years of living and beyond. And we are all not going to do that in our lifetimes. Right. So it is a journey. And if you sign up for the resource guide, you're signing up for a lifetime of work. Just get that in your head right now. But go download that resource guide, y'all. Say hey.
Yeah. Because remember, it's not just, you know, in food, it's in everywhere. It's in banking, it's in housing, it's in education. It's systematic. So we have to work at it brick by brick, and it's every single day, and it's putting your hands and feet to the pavement, and it's making sure that, you know, you stand up for people who may not necessarily have the opportunities as you. So every one of us, we all have to do our part.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of amplifying melanated voices and celebrating Blackness, let's talk about Black Restaurant Week.
Let's talk about it.
It's Black people and food. Come on, y'all.
Eat some good food. No, really, Black Restaurant Week started a couple of years ago with this group outside of Houston, and they reached out to me and said, hey, what are the cool Black restaurants in Indianapolis? Well, let me tell you, there are a ton, and there are many that people don't even know
Absolutely.
About.
Yeah.
So they wanted to just highlight that and to give Black restaurants, you know, a leg up, especially right now as we're dealing with a pandemic, and there are a lot of restaurants that are barely staying afloat. I mean, this is their livelihood. So
hashtag wear a mask.
Hashtag wear a mask.
Sorry, I just had to get that in there.
Even with your takeout. I know you're just running in 5 minutes. Where you
Put it on.
Please. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm done. Sorry.
So one of the restaurants I want to shout out is Paleo Soul, which is where Tanorria and I actually go to just kind of brain dump.
That was the last place we went before the
COVID.
Pandemic. I think it was like 2 days before the
Literally.
shelter in place.
Literally.
Yeah.
That was the last time we went there together. Check them out. They are located up north off of 96th Street. The owner, her name's Tanisha Goodman. She's amazing.
So good.
She makes paleo type food, but she'll also fry you up some whiting if you ask.
Amen.
But also check out the big one, Chef Oyster Trot, The Missing Brick, Michael's Soul Kitchen once he's back open. Rick and Stacy, Chef Tia.
So good.
So good. Chef Tia literally makes the best fried chicken wings I've ever had.
She puts like some juju in there.
I don't know what she does.
They
were
kind of
so
juju.
good. I called my dad and said, "Are you working in Chef Tia's kitchen? What are you doing back there, Daddy?" It wasn't him. It was just her chicken. It was just so good. So amazing. Who else do we have? We've got all these. Oh, we've got Mama P's. There's Pine Ma's. There's all these different restaurants. We're gonna get you guys a link and a list. And the Creative Mornings team is gonna get you guys. R&R. Yeah. I mean,
get it, Melanie girl.
Yeah, there's so many Black-owned restaurants in the city that you probably don't even realize. Cleo's Bodega, cafe and grocery store that is serving a food desert right now. Don't know if you guys know that. Indianapolis.
Her spices are there, y'all.
Yeah, spices are there too, so you can get those there. Indianapolis is a huge food desert, so support these restaurants. They have oxtails today.
Well, it's Chef Oya's special grilled cheese today
with
shredded oxtails.
Y'all, doesn't that just sound good?
See what food does.
You see, we just literally were like, do we have to? Can we go now?
We had a moment.
But really, supporting these businesses, you know, this week and beyond really is an incredible way to just keep, you know, dollars flowing through these businesses that may not necessarily be here next year, because we don't know what next year is going to look like. And not every business, you know, qualified for the paycheck protection and all those things that, again, Black businesses, you have to do 10 times more things to even get in front of the banks for a loan.
Yeah, just imagine, the funding does not come easily.
It doesn't come
even
easily.
If you have A1 credit, A1 references, a solid business plan, the funding does not come easily for Black businesses. My funding to start my business came from my dad, because that's the only place I can get it. And I worked at a bank, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything for the cooking school. Before I had a generous benefactor a couple of years ago, but literally everything for my cooking school with my kids, I purchased out of pocket. So yeah, it's one of those things that you have to be being intentional.
Absolutely.
Again, being intentional, making sure that people are being supported. And yes, likes and love goes a long way, but $1 can go a lot farther.
It sure can. I don't want your exposure. Your exposure does not pay my rent or my mortgage. On that
moment, please stop asking Black people and people in general to do things for exposure. AT&T does not take exposure checks.
They do not.
I asked.
They do not.
They said no.
And I know you guys understand this as creatives. In your spaces, there's this expectation that you are just going to whip up something. I can't tell you how many people think just because I cook, I just whip up something and ingredients fall out of the sky.
Right.
I'm like, wait, number one, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to buy them groceries. I just can't walk out with them because it's for a good cause.
Right.
And so I know artists and graphic designers and musicians and photographers, they're like, oh, all you gotta do is just bring your camera and snap some stuff, right? Well, let's talk about bringing my camera or my cooking equipment and my knives and whipping up something or snapping something. I've been doing this, like you said, since 6 years old. We both have been cooking since we were 6 years old.
Yeah.
That is plenty of years of training experience.
Exactly.
I come from the Culinary Institute of my parents and grandparents.
Exactly.
And my tuition is due with them, y'all. Yeah. I owe them some money.
You know, I owe my mom a nice dinner. My dad, you know, a nice T-bone steak. I mean, so you're paying for the experience. Absolutely. And trust and believe these recipes are tested with time. The fried corn recipe that I just dropped, that was from my 80-year-old great grandmother's mom. That is years of cooking that in her cast iron skillet. So trust me, when you're paying our rates, which are modest, by the way, incredibly modest, you're literally paying for the experience and the totality of us. So there's that.
I think there's questions.
I think there are questions.
I feel like I'm like out of breath. Oh, Lord. We'll answer your questions now. We'll give you a minute.
Yeah.
All right. I can kick some questions toward y'all. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah. One question that we had was, is there any work that you know of being done by anti-racist white chefs to fund new Black food endeavors?
To fund new Black food endeavors. I will actually, Sonia's gonna be so proud of me. She and another content creator just created an initiative called the Food and Wellness Equity Collective. And I really feel like it is the start of celebrating Black voices in the food creative space. One thing that I am constantly trying to get people to recognize is that not all Black chefs are just Southern cooks. I mean, I am, but still, I need you to recognize that I am capable of doing and cooking more. And so, especially in the creative space, this is exposing Black food creatives and food creatives of color, also in the food space, but also in the wellness space, which I feel like a lot of Black people are really into wellness and don't get the recognition that maybe a white person in wellness does because of the white expectation of beauty and health. And that a Black person won't get that same kind of recognition. And so follow the Food and Equity Wellness Collective. I feel like that is a great launching pad to see the start of other Black businesses and creatives coming into their own, as well as amplifying the ones like myself and Candace, who've been doing this work forever. So I do feel like that's a good one. Indie Women in Food does too.
Yep.
I mean, they literally, Candace and I had one of these soapbox conversations. Like the way we just talk, that's how Candace and I talk all the time. Whether we're standing in the parking lot of a restaurant or eating at a restaurant or texting. We get fired up like this all the time. And so we'll have a conversation like this. And then I think we just both went to Sonia and like, here, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know that we gave them an option to say no. But you have two white women, Sonia and Ashley, that could have been like, I don't know if that's safe, if that's cozy, because it's not safe and cozy. It's awkward and it's uncomfortable and it's frustrating and it's weird. Speaking of awkward, I'm about to plug myself. This conversation might get awkward. It is basically myself and a white woman who I know has been doing the work. You don't partner with people who just want to, eggshell. So this woman has been doing the work even before she met me. Manda Carpenter, she's based out of Chicago. We're basically going to have an awkward conversation between a Black woman and a white woman, and you're going to pay us to do it. The intention was to have it in October. That is the third time we've moved it in light of the pandemic. So hopefully it'll happen this year. There's that one's in Chicago. We are bringing one to Indy, but go follow us and learn about awkward conversations. Get over the discomfort. Yeah. How many things have you done that have been uncomfortable that you've looked back on and been like, holy crap, I did that. Yes. So the same way with this conversation.
And look how much better you'll be for it.
Absolutely. I don't know that I answered your question, but I gave you some great nuggets.
No, you did. All right, Candace, we have lots of questions about the spices. Where all locally can we pick up the spices?
Okay, so you can grab spices at Cleo's Bodega, at Goose the Market. You can also get them at Indy's Food Co-op. You can get them via my website, foodlovetalk.com/spiceslanger. You can also get them at Chef Oya's website as well. So I ship everywhere. I've shipped to all 50 of the United States.
Get it, girl.
We have made it to Egypt. We have made it to Paris. We have made it. So yeah, I will ship anywhere. And if there's something that you want me to create, you have an idea, hey, I have this flavor profile, I do that as well. I do recipe development too. So please let me know how I can get you be seasoned, because bland food won't prosper. Amen.
Excellent. All right. One last question and we'll wrap up here. What is next for each of you? What do you have cooking next?
What is next? You go first.
Okay, so
Lord.
next week I'm doing a cooking demo on Zoom for a couple of people learning about food education. Really going to develop another product. I'm teasing, so I'm really into product development for something else. Expanding the spice line is really something that I want to do to get into more stores here in Indy, and hopefully possibly get cooking school back up. I mean, yeah, I want to be able to be, in front of my kiddos and with families and talking about food education and why cooking is important and doing the science part. Possibly a cookbook, maybe. It's kind of teasing at it, and then whatever Tanorria wants to do.
Right. Yeah. I saw someone pop up on here earlier and said that we needed to start a podcast. We've been talking about that for a year now.
Yeah.
So if you just want to send us all the instructions,
can you just
start
do
a
it?
podcast,
Can you just do it for us?
Can you edit it for us and then design the graphics?
We'll show up and talk.
We will show up in front of a microphone and talk.
And bring food. We will. We will.
Because this podcast will include eating.
We can 100% resource that.
Yeah.
There are people here that are going to help you with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, we love that.
What's next for me? So I have been doing a lot of virtual cooking lessons, and so I plan to keep that going. I actually have a virtual membership cooking group called Conquering the Kitchen.
Yes.
It is closed right now, but registration will open up at the end of the year for 2021. So if you sign up for my emails, then you'll be made aware of those, or follow me on social, you'll be made aware of those. And then I have also been doing quite a bit of anti-racism training for small organizations, churches, etc. And so I'm trying to build that part of my brand, keep driving momentum to this conversation might get awkward in the event that we actually end up being able to do it. And there are some works with books and TV shows, but guys, I've been on TV. Well, I was on TV, 4 years ago? And I have had 13 different opportunities for a TV show since then, and none of them have panned out. The entertainment industry is brutal. So while I'm super excited about the possibility of a new concept, I'll believe it when I see it.
Same.
And you guys will be the first to know about it.
Same.
Actually, my mom and my dad and Candace and Bae will be the first to know about it. But then I'll tell y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, thank you both so much for sharing space with us this morning. It's such an honor to share City with you, and just thank you for all of your energy and heartfelt comments and commentary. So we appreciate you so very much.
Thank you guys for having us. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I am so impressed with the engagement in this Zoom. I've never seen that many people comment. It warmed my heart.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of good resources in there. And we're actually going to leave the chat open and play some music for a while, even after we shut this thing down, so that if you have any additional questions, we'll be in there as a Creative Mornings team. And thanks for being here this morning, everyone. Thanks for rocking with us on Zoom. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for standing with us. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. And I look forward to seeing all of your faces next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, you guys.